Let's talk about web accessibility. Now, what is web accessibility? For a lot of my students, I'm an instructor at a college, they assume that it means that you can get to a website, that it exists somewhere on the internet. The truth is that web accessibility means that anybody can use your website, no matter their abilities or disabilities. Now, when I started working in accessibility in 2013, a lot of our focus was around individuals with visual impairments and blindness, because obviously they're going to use the internet a different way than you and I might. Now, for a lot of these individuals, the internet is being read back to them with a screen reader. But we've learned over the last couple of decades of focusing on accessibility and creating an accessible web that there are other individuals who have different needs and need to be able to use the internet a different way. Let's talk about what this all means and how we help people. Now, first off, how do we know how to help people with web accessibility? What do we do? How do we know what they need? What we do is we follow the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Now, these guidelines are created by an international organization that have become the standard for us to build websites that everyone can use. These guidelines provide basically a rule book that we can follow to ensure that what the websites that we're creating are usable by every single person online, no matter what their abilities are. Now, within the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, we follow something called the POUR principle, POUR. And by that, it stands for your website needs to be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. Let's break that down a little bit. These principles help guide us so that we are creating a website that everybody can use. When a website is perceivable, that means that everyone who accesses your website can understand and interact with the components on your website. Now, simple terms, how we make a website perceivable is we provide captions and transcripts for audio and video content, or we provide alternative text image descriptions so that the individuals who are blind can have those descriptions of images read back to them through their screen readers. We make sure that our text can be read without any styling. So we make sure that our website is usable and perceivable by everyone. Now, our next word, operable. Have you ever tried to operate a website without a mouse? There are a lot of people who have to use their keyboard or other assistive technologies in order to navigate a website. For a website to be operable, we have to make it easy for anyone to get around, no matter what they're using to get around. When we make our content and our websites operable, we're providing multiple ways for people to interact with a website, whether it's through a mouse or whether it's through a keyboard and tabbing through. You have to give them timing over animations and slides. That's a big one because for some individuals, slides and animations can actually trigger physical reactions, and we don't want that to happen. We also use something called semantic HTML in our code. This allows those assistive tools to navigate our website more cleanly, and we want to make sure that we're making it easy for people to find and navigate through our content by making links and buttons really easy to understand. Now, of course, that leads us into our next word, understandable. This one is just like it sounds. Can everyone understand how to use your website? Can they land on your website and know where to go? This is about the functionality. It's about the content. It's about everything. You want everyone, no matter what their abilities are, to be able to navigate around the website, find the information they want, and understand the content on your pages. So we make our website understandable by avoiding overly technical jargon. We write for a higher, or honestly, we're moving towards writing for a lower secondary reading level. Think between 6th to 9th grade, depending on your own personal audience. We provide those transcripts again for videos and audio files. Not everyone wants to go through the entire video that you have on your page. Some people want to be able to just skim through it. We make sure that we design elements and that are consistent throughout our website so that we're using the same button, the same kind of links, the same kind of images, everything over and over again so that they can understand the importance and what they can click on and how they can navigate. We want to make sure that we provide clear instructions for forms and make sure that we give labels so that we aren't missing anything. And we want to have an easy to follow navigation structure. And then the last principle, robust, it kind of combines those three previous principles and then asks, can it work across multiple devices? So web accessibility is about who can get to it, but it's really about how all these things come together and can it be usable by everyone, no matter what device they may carry in hand. Now, again, some people are using specialized assistive technologies, so they're not necessarily using a laptop that you may be familiar with. So we make our content robust by writing clean, compatible code using that semantic HTML. We also make sure that we're creating responsive websites, so we maximize that compatibility. And we're testing across multiple browsers and device types to ensure that it works the way that we think it's going to work, where we need it to. Now, you may be wondering, who does web accessibility actually help? Again, we focused largely on blind individuals 10, 15 years ago, but we have learned that so many other people who need to access the internet have different needs when it comes to how they access the internet. When we are creating accessible websites, we're creating websites that individuals who, of course, are blind or have visual impairments can use, but we're also creating a website that individuals that are hard of hearing or have tinnitus can use. Individuals with ADHD and autism, individuals that have color blindness, or those who have epilepsy or cognitive impairments. We're making sure that no matter what we are creating, everybody can use it within our target market. And I can tell you right now that 27% of the US population has some kind of disability. So no matter who you think you're helping, you're probably helping a lot more people when you make your website more accessible. And that's not even counting those who have temporary disabilities, like when you break an arm and suddenly the way that you navigate life changes for a few weeks. Now, as a university or another institution, what are your legal obligations? Now, with web accessibility, you have a couple of different things that apply. One is the Title II of the ADA, and this applies specifically to public universities. Anybody that receives any kind of federal government funding has to comply by April of 2026 currently. There's also Section 508. There's a couple different legal obligations that we have to consider, but the biggest thing that you need to remember is that just under the ADA generally, there has been a lot of lawsuits brought against different businesses, education institutions, and, other people who have websites. And judges typically rule in favor of the individual suing because under just the blanket ADA, we should be providing accessible experiences. Now, when we are creating accessible websites, we are helping everyone use our website easily, but we're also creating just a more inclusive online community. And we're making sure that we're reaching those students and those individuals who maybe just need a little bit of extra help in order to navigate our website. But I can tell you right now, no marketer ever wants to find out that they've excluded 27% of their ideal audience. So that's something to keep in mind as you focus on web accessibility moving forward. This is something that matters to you and your customers alike.